She walks barefoot into assassination attempts and bans legendary elves from elite mage clubs. Who else but the divine mythic feet goddess herself, Serie, the walking contradiction of Frieren in Flamme's world. Elitist gatekeeper or misunderstood protector of magic? Let's get into the arc of Serie, her hubris, and whether or not those wiggly toes are about to catch a fade. Serie is an elf from the mythic era, meaning she's been here long enough to see humanity turn from just demon food to turning demons into an endangered species. Some may call her the divine mythic feet goddess, but others call her the great mage Serie, head of the current iteration of mage elites called the Continental Magic Association, and a magic hoarder like Frieren, but also not like Frieren. As a goddess-like holy entity herself, she carries great wisdom and great power. Such an existence comes with unchecked elitism and pride, where walking straight into an assassination attempt barefoot is of no worry. She is an entity worthy of her followers' utmost protection due to her great wisdom, divine-like nature, and magic she bestows upon her first-class mages. To obtain such a title, these first-class mages must go through rigorous tests that can end in death. Unfortunately for the NPCs, they dead like anyone cares. But point proven that to be elite, there's a balance between ambition, reality, and ability. That ambition is determined last by a one-on-one interview with yours truly, the great mage Serie. If you are worthy, the toes wiggle, and if not, catch some petals of flowers elsewhere. Frieren. If there was one word to describe Serie, it would be ambition. If you're not willing to step barefoot on your enemies' faces, then what kind of mage really are you? The first class mages are all about it, where one is recognized for skill, talent, and going as far as you can, where one's empathy scale is tilted away, and one where one's talent and abilities can override the value of even human life. As a goddess-like entity that walks on pristine and wears ancient symbolism, with that divine-like aura, elitist attitude, and cold-blooded bluntness, she acts as a clear pedestal that most look up to upon her throne. Except Frieren, you are banned, Missy. The magic Serie seeks to gatekeep only given to the worthy, like the first-class mages, are now faced with a world where humanity is rapidly gaining the knowledge of how to use the magic of the goddess. In Serie's eyes, magic is deified, controlled, and to be hoarded among the worthy. Due to humanity's progress, the magic she deems so sacred is going to be in the hands of those that would defile and disgrace it. To Flamme, one of her greatest students, and if not her greatest student, saw magic for its natural beauty and seeked out a method to gift it to humanity, which eventually led to Flamme accomplishing her dream and leaving a legacy behind as the biggest reason as to why humanity has magic and has it thriving everywhere, especially in the imperial capital, where even the ordinary have access and can interact with it on an everyday level. With magic spread across the globe means like it's the industrialization of its use cases, where the reward for great imagination creates magical spells for various uses in various situations, like spells that let you clean clothing, sleeping with cool nightmares, and a freaky way to get freaky. Who knew that the ginger girl was the one with the soul the entire time? Where magic thrives, there are those that want to end such access to power. In the latest arc of Frieren, the Foundation Festival arc, we learned that the Shadow Warriors want to take it one step further by removing magic completely. That is the main motivation behind a particular faction of Shadow Warriors wanting to yeet the mythic feet goddess in Serie, which is interesting because she is the philosophical counter to Flamme and Frieren. She wants to gatekeep magic for only those that are talented, ambitious, and whom she deems worthy. No matter what your philosophical ideals are of magic, it is something scary and to be feared due to all-powerful characters just like Serie and also just like Frieren. And I think this is a valid point because when you have almighty powerful characters like Serie, if she wanted to, she can create chaos just like the other demons did. One of Frieren's biggest themes when it comes to magic is being able to realistically imagine yourself doing or creating something. It's that self-belief that can create something new for the world. Frieren says it herself that she can't imagine herself defeating Serie. I mean, look at that amount of mana. Imagine Frieren holding her mana all this time, but hundreds or even thousands of years longer. That is Serie. On top of that, she has almost any existing grimoire you can think of, like something naughty. Later on in the manga, we get to see Serie in action for the first time against Mage, one of the Demon King's 7 Sages of Destruction in the Northern Lands, but it was learning in the others that prevented her from disposing him for the off chance they find a way to get Mage to basically ungold the people of Denkin's hometown. This was a fight that clearly shows how easily she outclasses one of the strongest remaining known demons that has the ability to use human magic, whereas other characters like Frieren are shown to be closer as equals. Remember that demons specifically specialize in one magic. There is an entire arc about Mage, so Serie herself being able to yeet him is a pretty outlandish feat for the rest of the known powerful mages, which leads us to potentially one of Serie's biggest weaknesses: hubris. Can anyone really tie down Serie and make her submit to the modernization of wearing shoes? One of her students that she has undercover in the Empire may have made her kneel, even for a brief moment. Everyone has a weakness of some kind, and mages naturally have one in warriors, and so the secret organization of Shadow Warriors think they have the capabilities to do just that, even if it is the great mage Serie. Which leads us to another potential pitfall of Serie, where we learn a lot about a strong warrior 20 years ago, allegedly defeating this tyrant elf, Minas, that wreaked havoc through endless wars on the southern lands. It is in the latest arc with the Shadow Warriors' attempted assassination of Serie, where we learn that warriors of Stark's level can take down someone like Frieren and Fern if they were in close enough distance before mages can rattle off a spell, which gives even more credence to the aforementioned apparent defeat of the tyrant elf in Minas. This arc is still ongoing, so a lot of what we know about the witch Minas in the attempted assassination of Serie hasn't quite happened yet, but the story has created multiple layers of doubt of Serie's ability to actually survive. So introducing that a strong warrior can take down someone that is seemingly all-powerful is a purposeful one that plants multiple seeds of doubt in not only Serie's capabilities, but her ideals about gatekeeping magic. If Minas got clapped by a warrior 20 years ago, and warriors like Stark could one-shot mages in close quarters, then Serie walking barefoot into a trap isn't as unimaginable as it seems. To yeet her! Although her hubris isn't unfounded and is actually heralded, her reign over magic is partially why she got invited to this festival ball in the first place, to celebrate magic among the elites of society. With Serie walking into an obvious trap head on without any worry, that is where her downfall may lie. An entity spanning before humanity dominated that represents the ways of the old being folded and clapped by modern day warriors and mages would be one of great irony for Serie. It's like humanity's progress catching up to overthrow the ways of the old. It's where future meets the past. This arc being centered around Serie is the accumulation of the most powerful members of society supposedly coming together to celebrate Flamme's legacy of magic, being that the Empire is the current powerhouse of magic representing humanity's innovation. Serie clearly being one of the most well-known immortal-like entities that champions magic, it makes sense for her to be a representative of the Continental Magic Association among other elites at this celebratory ball at the imperial capital. However, there are those in the shadows that don't exactly like the idea of magic because of safety reasons, and maybe some other reasons yet to be revealed. Everything good in the world eventually comes down to safety, doesn't it? One of the most thought-provoking takeaways from Serie is the length of time she has existed. She has literally seen the birth of magic proliferate across humanity, provided by yours truly's disciple in the great Mage Flamme that taught us one of the most important underhanded maneuvers of hiding your capabilities, just so you could catch your enemies off guard with a kaboom! What is pride if you're just dead? Is Serie really ready for whatever the Shadow Assassins have in store for her? Which leads to another point of the clash of ideology between Serie versus Flamme and Frieren. Serie represents the notion of safeguarding magic, partially because of pride, divine worth, and even safety reasons. On the other hand, Flamme wants magic to be shared with humanity across the globe. A simple spell like the one that creates a field of flowers is one that symbolizes a beauty that should be shared with the world, and it's the one that rizzed up young Himo. You can simply boil this perspective down to elitists versus commoners. With this Yeet Serie arc, it brings in the idea of safety regulations, where great power means having great responsibility, but where there is power, there will be those that fear it. And where there is a great threat or danger, it means to eliminate it. The idea of a safety can be summed up with the introduction of the Empire's most skilled mages. They are called the Magic Special Forces. They are like the ultimate protectors of the Empire. They are the elites of the Empire. And the Shadow Warriors are like the dirty, underhanded versions of this that are specifically groomed to yeet these powerful mages. These Shadow Warriors are supposed to be disbanded, but really what happened is they went rogue. The Foundation Festival arc in Frieren will likely be one that provides clear answers for what it wants to teach us. And what Serie's biggest takeaway would be. Will she meet her ultimate end, or will she survive and have a different perspective of humanity? Serie is someone that is seeing humanity morph at a rapid pace, whereas elves move in slow-mo. I mean, look at Frieren's bedhead. Months to her are nothing, as time for us poor little ningen requires us to be more urgent and efficient with our time. We must pass on our hopes and dreams to the next generation. One of the drawbacks from time's passing is how warped the past becomes during the present. This is a theme that gets presented in many different aspects, like Himo's fate, but real replica sword, and like the legends of his grandiose feats. This also gets represented through statues, in which Flamme apparently turned into a Chad. Time eventually fades reality, with reality becoming a product of their time. With Serie's introduction in the First Class Mage exam arc, she was almost presented as an antagonist villain, but in reality, it's her perspective that is the antagonist itself. It's the perspective of cultivating ambitious mages that have talents to go even further than what is currently capable. This is where the Empire and Serie are actually pretty aligned. You have an empire that is rapidly expanding its use of magic and learning more and more about this goddess and her all-powerful magic, even deciphering and using the goddess's magic. It's an approach that's incentivized by war and fighting rather than Flamme and Frieren's more peace-loving outlook. Serie even puts down learning, as his abilities would have been best during times of war rather than peace, which led to a little mini squabble between Frieren and himself. With Serie being as strong as she is, with capable mages always by her side every generation, you would think that she would have been the one to lead the charge to take down the demons, which leads to more evidence that Serie herself doesn't actually mind war, as a battlefield is the best place to put your skills to the test. It's a test that she may yearn for to be challenged. This may be why she is wholeheartedly walking straight into a death trap, knowing that she can use all of her abilities that she has accumulated over the centuries to see if this assassination attempt can truly challenge her like it did for Minas. From an entirely different perspective altogether, the Shadow Warriors commander represents Serie's biggest worry and why she always felt like there are people that are unworthy of magic, because these people that are unworthy sully the mythical nature of what magic is supposed to represent. Powerful magic in the wrong hands become like the demons that wield it. This arc marries all of these aspects of Serie's outlook and worries together. Where there is true progress and ambition, it can be seen as a threat to the world. Thus why Serie becomes like a custodian of such ancient knowledge. It's why she created the Continental Magic Association, to continue to give those she deemed worthy the access to knowledge and power, continuing to provide the philosophical counter to Flamme and Frieren. Although these first-class mages are elitist in many ways, they aren't exactly evil either, as we see throughout various arcs that Serie sends her mages out on missions to stop demons, like with Ganao and Methode during the Revolte arc, like with the various instances with Mage, and like the Foundation Festival arc against the Shadow Assassins. It is the potential irony that the very legacy of what her students started in the advancements of humanity that Serie underestimated that may ultimately be her downfall. This is what the arc of Serie looks to conclude, and one where I would like to see her just slaughter these fools in an epic back and forth. I'm hoping and praying it's exciting. So whether Serie gets clapped by modern day warriors and mages or survives by the skin of her divine souls, either way we are watching one of the last representative bastions of the old going toe to toe against the progress of humanity. And so how do you guys foresee the arc of Serie ending or continuing? So Serie is a fascinating character because she represents something bigger, a broader aspect of how kind of we look at power. So I'm very interested to see what the author's outlook is for Serie and what comes about her assassination attempt. So yeah guys, let me know what you guys think about Serie's character and what can potentially happen to her and what potentially can be her biggest takeaway. I would love to know. So yeah guys, do me a favor, hit the like button if you like goddesses, and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Check out my blog at otakusend.com, and I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.